friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. My name is Megan, and if you're new here, I'm so glad you stopped by because this is my weekly Greenstalk Garden Tour and Harvest where I share everything that's going on with the Greenstalks while we do some harvesting. Okay, before we get started, I officially am moving my mic to a hat whenever I wear a hat because friends, if you can see, it is super humid. I thought by coming later in the evening was going to help, but it's not. I mean, I am just already super hot out here. So Mike's gonna be on the hat and I'm gonna actually start wearing hats this summer because I don't need sweat dripping down my face. Plus, I don't know if you deal with this, but those Japanese beetles are still in my garden, and I've had a Japanese beetle in my hair one time. I'll never forget that. I was out in the garden all day, or not all day, but for a good part of the day working, and I went in the house and it had been in my hair for quite a while because all of a sudden I felt something and I freaked out. It was a Japanese beetle in my hair. So I've learned to try to wear hats as much as possible, especially during this time in the garden during this season, because I do not want them in my hair. With that being said though, if you are new to my channel, I do Greenstalk Garden Tour and Harvest weekly now. I used to do them twice a month, but with adding more Greenstalks to my garden and with it being summer and I feel like everything is changing every second, I thought it would be best to do them weekly. And I also do backyard garden tour and harvest videos because I have 10 raised beds, bags, and a few buckets that I also grow in. And what I want to focus on today is not just going through the garden, but I also want to show you how I trellis and support larger plants in my Greenstalks. Now, I did recently at the beginning of June, I put out a video on all the things that I use to trellis in my Greenstalks. However, I feel like now that the plants have gotten larger and bigger, I would like to focus also on showing you how I support those larger plants now that everything is growing crazy. I have a feeling I'm going to be doing this a lot because I am just, the sweat is everywhere. Everywhere. At least I know I'm getting detoxed. Okay, it is hard to get a spot without the sun in my face, which is a big reason why I do a lot of my garden tours in the evening time because of the sun. But we are going to start in the back as we always do, and then we will make our way to the driveway. By the way, before I started filming, I had to go save my blueberries because I noticed the birds kept going in and out, and I'm like, what are they doing? They were pecking at my blueberry trees on the driveway, so we got ourselves some blueberries. A nice little harvest. By the way, I don't want to forget, next week I am officially harvesting all of my onions out of the Greenstalks, and I think I'm going to harvest the rest of the onions that were in my raised beds as well. I am so excited. They are looking really good. Not every pocket has an onion, but it was like that last year, and that is just the way the cookie crumbles. So I'm okay with that. However, I am so excited to harvest these onions because some of them are looking big and gorgeous. Plus, I did also harvest a lot of onions the last couple weeks that are still drying in my garage. So I think I'm going to be having enough onions to last me for the year. And since we're talking about onions right now, I do want to let you know that the blackberry will also be harvested for that video. Now, I've shared this before, but these onions were planted much later than the ones on the driveway, so the driveway's onions are definitely going to be larger. I do see a lot of growth. Let me show you. So here's one onion, and here's some that are on the top. So they're definitely smaller bulbs, but I've shared this before, friends. I love having smaller onions. For me, having different size onions is very helpful because I don't always want a really large onion. Let's say I just want to have something for fresh eating. I like smaller onions for that. And then these two lovelies that had the garlic, I really don't think I'm going to be planting anything in here. What I may do is get this one as well as the terracotta and the four in the driveway prepped and ready for the fall planting for my garlic. It's so hard not to just start talking about the garden back here, but that is the next video that I'll be sharing tomorrow. Friends, look at that squash. Okay, this is not part of the Greenstalk Garden Tour, but that's beautiful. I'm having such a good squash season. Now for this little lovely. Look at this thing. It's huge. Look at everything and how beautiful it is. So let's talk about a couple of trellises that I'm using in here. First and foremost, I love Greenstalks trellises because one, the support, the way it angles out is so helpful. They also have a round support for plants, and I will show that to you down on the driveway because it is supporting all of my sweet potato vines. But between this trellis and having bamboo sticks, for me, that is what helps support a lot of my larger plants. Something else that I want to quickly point out that helps me as I'm trellising, let's say for instance this is the tomato plant, I like to take off some of the leaves here that would give extra weight, but it's not really doing much, or it's not going to help with getting tomatoes, or I should say it's not going to hinder my plant from producing tomatoes. So what I like to do is I like to cut these off so there's not extra weight on this plant, so as it's getting supported it's not bending over. And right here I love to use these clips for the tomatoes because they're nice and loose and they're not super tight, so it will not cause any damage to the stem. Now I want to give you an example because I noticed this yesterday and I forgot to put a trellis out here. I do have a trellis, so I'm going to come out here and put it in here. But do you see how this is bending down right here? This whole dwarf tomato plant needs support. So what I'm going to do is get Greenstalks trellis. I'm going to stick it in here and then I will clip it right here onto the trellis so that this plant has support. You know what? I actually have this for my pepper plant and it really doesn't need it. I think I just put that there, but I can always grab one out. Let me take this out so I can show you real quick. All right, friends, can you see that? I love Greenstalks trellis supports because they do make such a big difference. But do you see how it is resting on there? I actually didn't need to get a clip. I mean, I'll probably put one on there just to be safe, but look at how nice it is nestled right on top of there. And here's another angle. So look at all those beautiful tomatoes and look at how it's being supported right in the pocket. Love this. With that being said, I do want to show you the fruit on here because I'll show you some other ways that I trellis too in the other Greenstalks, especially the sweet potatoes as I mentioned earlier. But we are getting some peppers and you can see we had a bunch of tomatoes. They're just not turning orange yet. And the dwarf basil. So friends, Greek dwarf basil is, in my experience, the best basil to grow in the Greenstalk because of how small it is. I'm sure there's other dwarf size basil that is really good in the Greenstalk, but I always gravitate to the Greek dwarf basil. Now I will say this, if you don't need it, and let's say you have enough basil, definitely make sure that you are kind of deadheading the tops so that it can continue to grow and it doesn't flower on you. Well, hopefully next week we'll have some tomatoes to harvest and maybe a few peppers. I do want to show you though this sunflower. It hasn't bloomed yet, but look at how big this is. Absolutely gorgeous. This one looks like it's going to bloom soon. They are so pretty. So a lot of the dwarf sunflowers that I use is either the teddy bear or this year I am trying out Haas's golden sunflower, dwarf sunflower. I think that's what it's called. Absolutely beautiful. Hands down, both of them are my favorites now. So this newer trellis system that has all the Greenstalks on here is just massive. I'm going to try my hardest to show you as much as I can, but we could be here forever because there's just so much. So let me show you some of the peppers, the tomatoes. We do have a couple of cucumbers to harvest again because last week was our first time harvesting cucumbers. I don't know if you can see it over there. It's right there. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Let's start right here and we'll work our way around. These two peppers that I feel like have been here forever have not turned color yet, but I do kind of see that it's changing color. Hopefully we can harvest these very soon though. I do see tomatoes, so hopefully we'll be harvesting these real soon. And there's more tomatoes here and up there. Oh my goodness, I have a feeling we're gonna harvest a lot of tomatoes here. Friends, I just had to get the sunflower real quick because the way the sun is hitting it and it's peeking through the leaves, isn't that beautiful? It's the sun gold dwarf. There you go. That's the sun gold dwarf sunflower from Haas. As far as this side, there's not a lot to harvest, but I will say I did come out here and prune a lot of the leaves off of the tomato plants. You can see I did put my 3 to 4 foot bamboo sticks for the ones on the outer part of the Greenstalk. And then I use the trellis in the middle for the plants that are on the other side of the Greenstalk for support. I didn't see these. Look at these little jalapenos over here. Very pretty. I did plant a sweet passion cantaloupe in this pocket and it is starting to trellis up the trellis in the middle. So we will have to see how that goes, but wouldn't that be really cool if I harvested a bunch of cantaloupe from just one pocket with a cantaloupe? That would be fun. Here's a visual of some of the plants over here. Now, I will say this is the first time that I'm growing in the Greenstalks on here. So some of these Greenstalks have more shade than other parts. So I want to see how all of this goes this summer, because in my backyard, it does get really hot and it does get a lot of sun. However, there is more shade because of the tall trees in the back. So I'm trying to be, I should say, very observant of how things are growing in the Greenstalks. And I did not put any spinners on them because a lot of the plants, like I said earlier, on that one side of the Greenstalk is being trellised on top of the middle trellis that my husband built. So if I were to spin those, then it would break that. So what I'm doing is I'm just observing to see how things grow. And it may be that I just take a few Greenstalks off of there and only put 2 or 3 or maybe 4 and move them around, or I may end up liking everything and it just works out really good. But this is how I learn my backyard and my garden, is just doing things and then observing, seeing what worked, what didn't, taking note, and then either switching it up or keeping it the same the next year. And this is where I want to say that you want to be the best student that your garden has ever had, because only you, through failure, wins, and experimenting, observing, and trying, are you going to know what works best in your garden. And so high five to you, keep it going, and you got this. So since I'm on this side, I do want to quickly show you, look at how tall the cucumber plants have gotten, and some of those are in the pockets of the Greenstalk, and I'm talking 1 cucumber per pocket. So let me take you to the other side, but let me show you how high this trellis is in the middle. The way my land is, it slopes down this way, which is why you see this leg is taller than that one, and then I can't remember if you even put a leg down there, but you can see how tall this trellis is. It's pretty tall. And friends, look at all of the cucumber vines. Now everything looks really wilty because it is incredibly hot and the sun's been beating on the leaves all day, so they're gonna look kind of sad and dramatic right now. Look at how huge these plants have gotten. So let's go ahead and harvest that beautiful cucumber. All right, well, this is gonna be hard because my camera wants to focus on everything because it's so busy, but there is a bunch of cucumbers right here. Oh, look at this little guy. I wonder if this is, oh, you little punks, you scared me. Okay, so you see that? You don't like, that's an enemy right there. You don't like him. I believe that's not a squash beetle. Friends, help me out here. What is that? Stink bug? No. I can't think of the name. I'm sure I will. Put it down in the description, or someone put it down. These are bad news. You don't want them. You scared me, dude. Get out of here. All right, well, as I was trying to get him off, the cucumber came off, so it's okay. It's still good. It feels good. We'll just eat it. Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that there was this one too. Look at them. Hey, B, I see you, buddy. I aggravated him earlier. I didn't see him, so I hope he's not mad at me. Okay, let's go ahead and harvest this beauty. So here's 1. Here's 2. Oh, is this exciting, friends? And there's another one here too. So I have this one, I have those 2, and then the other side has some. And then, yeah, look at all that. You see that bee up there? I think I aggravated him earlier. I'm sorry, buddy. Go ahead, pollinate. Love you. Love you. Thanks for visiting. Friends, look at those beautiful romas. That's what I'm talking about. Look at you showing off. Oh, I'm so excited. I cannot wait to start harvesting romas. In these pockets down here, I have the Armenian yard-long cucumbers. Not every single pocket, but these 2 because I wanted them close to the trellis. And then this entire tier right here is all snacking cucumbers. And friends, I'm really impressed with how they're growing in here. I did want to quickly show you, I am trying to grow loofah again this year. Last year was not successful, but I have 2 of them in these pockets, and then I do have some in grow bags. But friends, they are growing, and you can see how much they've grown on top of the trellis. I know that sun is kind of making it hard, but look at how beautiful it looks. All right, do you remember the Pink Beauty Amaranth? Okay, look at friends. Look at that beauty. I don't want to lift the camera up because the sun is right there, but look at how beautiful that color is. And then this one right here is the White Beauty. Okay, you're in the way, so I'm going to take you off. We don't need you. Okay, That's extra dead weight. That's why I took that off. But look at how beautiful that is. So the reason I have the amaranth in here is definitely number one, it's for companion planting. And I'll show you later in one of the Greenstalks. One was completely devoured and I'm so glad that I put it in there. The second reason I have them in here too is they can act like a spinach. So if I want to make some sort of a salad, or if I wanted to even saute these, I would use them for that. But I will not harvest them for that unless I'm absolutely going to make something like that, because I do want them here for companion first. Now we're on this side. So I see a red pepper. That's exciting. I'm wondering if I should, oh, this is the Melrose pepper, friends. So this is one of the new varieties that I'm growing this year, and I'm gonna just take it because I'm sure it's fine. Oh, I'm so excited. Look at this, it's so pretty. There are more peppers over here too, and they're starting to grow, so I just gotta be patient. I did decide to put amaranth in the buckets. They're on the other side too, and I did that, one, because I had leftover, but two, I wanted more companion plants. Look at this other sunflower. Isn't that so pretty? Look how sweet that is. I mean, so beautiful. I had cut a couple of these and put them on my island in my kitchen, and they lasted for over a week. I put it in a little used season bottle because I like to keep those because they're short, for short little stems like this, or short little flowers, and it was absolutely beautiful. I haven't been out here for a little bit checking all of this because I've been busy with still planting stuff in the garden. Look at how massive this pink beauty got. Look at how thick the stem is. I'm just saying, like, look at how beautiful and healthy that is. That right there is a testimony to how well plants grow in the Greenstalks. This is in one pocket. Look at how thick that is. Look at how beautiful that is. Absolutely stunning. And same with the Chinese multi-spinach one. Look at how big that got. Super beautiful. I am going to go ahead and harvest a little bit of basil though. Before we go down to the driveway, because I want to show you how everything is doing, look at this beautiful Greenstalk right here, as well as the black one. So I had put a trellis in between the black Greenstalk and the lemonade. I know some of these leaves look very dramatic. They need to be watered because, like I said, the heat's been on them all day. But look at, they're starting to, the cucumbers are starting to get on the other trellis. Kind of funny. But this is doing so good. Here's what I did want to show you though. Do you see this amaranth right here? I want you to look at the leaves. You could barely see them because they were completely attacked by, I want to say, like cucumber or whatever. So look at this. It's a skeleton, a plant skeleton. So I actually did not take this out because I wanted to wait and show you guys. This is the reason why I like to put companion plants with other plants, because this got attacked while everything else is fine. Although I know it doesn't look fine, but it just needs to get watered. And an update on the eggplant, so far so good. There's a lot of bug pressure here, so hopefully we'll be able to get something, I don't know. But either way, it's still growing, so we'll see. I did not see this cucumber over here, so we are going to harvest this. Oh, look at you. Actually, I saw this yesterday, and I almost forgot about it. Oh, look at this one. I'm gonna wait on this one a little bit. Oh, look at that one. We need to harvest that one too. Hello, buddy. Aren't you a beauty? I have a lot of cucumbers, a lot of snacking, and then I did stick some Hass in here just because I had a lot of leftover. So we'll see how that goes. There's another support for the tomato plant right there. I'm telling you, I really do love them. They're so helpful for the Greenstalk. And a lot of times if I get leaves that have kind of that yellow brown right there, I will just take it off if I really don't need it because I don't want this spreading. Plus with the humidity, I like to keep as little of leaves as possible without it looking like it's completely bare, but I like to take off as many as possible so that it can breathe and not get disease. And look at what we have here, a little pepper. So I think next week we'll be able to harvest this, which actually I just realized when I was looking at the Greenstalks down on the driveway, we actually do have a bell pepper to harvest and a couple of cayennes. By the way, before you go take a look at the Greenstalks on the driveway and wrap up our garden tour and look at our harvest, I do want to know from you, what dwarf tomato varieties are you growing in your Greenstalks? I am currently growing Tiny Tim, yellow patio bush tomato, and then of course orange hat. So far I'm really liking orange hat a lot. Yellow patio is getting really large, but I would love to know from all of you, what dwarf tomato varieties are you growing? All right, so we are on my driveway and I'm just going to start from here and work our way down. The first thing I want to show you though is the other Greenstalk plant support. So the ones in the back was the trellis, but this is the plant support. And friends, I really enjoy having this. It's not just for sweet potatoes, which is what I'm growing here, but you can put melons, cucumbers, anything, even a tomato plant. I mean, tomato plants are pretty bendable. I can even see wrapping a tomato plant all the way around, but I do want to give you an example of how I grab these leaves and put them on the support. So you see how this is on the ground? I'm just gonna pick this up. I do need to take those dead leaves off. I'm gonna pick it up and then I'm going to wrap it around this plant support like so. And so as it grows, I'm gonna come out here and I'm just going to vine it around the support. Kind of like what you see right here. I took this vine and I have it wrapped around the support, and I'll tell you, it really helps a lot. And again, these leaves, well, the top doesn't, but some of these leaves look kind of sad because everything needs to get water. It was really hot today. It's still hot right now, but I did want to show you that this is a really good support for vining plants, large plants, supporting melons, cucumbers, all sorts of things. So just wanted to show you what that looks like with my sweet potatoes. Then we have the garlic, and as I shared in the back, I think what I'm going to do is just replenish the celery, listen to me, replenish the soil, add some nutrition so that I can get them ready for garlic planting. But I did want to show this to you. This is a volunteer Tulsi holy basil, and I get them throughout the Greenstalks. They're even growing in my sweet potatoes too, because once you have Tulsi holy basil or even lemon balm, their seed just gets everywhere. So I'm just gonna let them do their thing until I replenish these Greenstalks to get them ready for garlic. And then, I mean, the onions, like, it's so fun to see these grow, and they do so good. This is truly my favorite way to grow onions. They just do so well in here. Then we have the perennial tower, which I do need to just come over here and clean up. I'm not going to harvest any mint, although I'm very tempted to right now, but I just don't need it at the very moment. I might just clip a few pieces off so that I can keep it growing and not get overly bushy. But I do need to come in here and clean stuff up. With that being said though, I did clean up my strawberries. These were a hot mess and they were everywhere. I will say though, these Japanese beetles, speak of them, look at them, they were eating my strawberries. Like, I only harvested, I think, 2 or 3 the other day because they were eating them. But I want to show you the berry cups. I have new starts and I am super impressed with these. Every berry cup that I have has a new start. So the next thing I'm going to do is put these new starts in the pockets that don't have any strawberry plants. And here's another one. They do really good. I'm so happy that they came out with these berry cups because it's just a really nice way to be able to restart a new strawberry plant without having such a mess everywhere. Peppermint's doing really good too, but I don't need peppermint right now. And then here are my potato Greenstalks. Now I just put a video out on harvesting all them, friends. We got 15.22 pounds in these 2 Greenstalks. Now last year I got just about 20 pounds, but either way, I am so happy. Way more potatoes in these 2 than back there in the grow bags. I still like my grow bags. I'm still gonna keep trying to grow in grow bags. However, I'm telling you, the Greenstalks, hands down, is my favorite way to grow potatoes now. Now for these last 2 lovelies before we wrap up. So I am keeping a very close eye on this Greenstalk because there is a lot of spring plants in here and we're officially in the summertime now. And so I'm not really sure what I'm going to be doing with everything. You can see there's a lot of Swiss chard down here. So I'll harvest a few of those pieces. And then the celery, friends, the celery and even the dandelion is doing really good. So you can see the celery. Look at how beautiful that is. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I may just harvest this next week. I'm not sure, but even the fennel is doing really good. Look at how beautiful that is. And that fennel, I'm actually quite surprised because I've always had a really hard time growing fennel. So maybe next week we can harvest this. It'll be small. I know it's not a full bulb, or maybe I'll wait. I don't know. I'll figure it out when I do the next Greenstalk tour. Now this one is what I'm really excited about because there's so much going on here. So the marigolds are blooming, the parsley is doing amazing. Look at the jalapenos, friends. I have a feeling this one's gonna be producing a lot of peppers. That's what I wanted to show you. Look at this beautiful pepper, friends, out of a Greenstalk. I am so excited. I think this might be the Cali Wonder 300, but either way, I am so excited. So let's go ahead and harvest this. Look at that. I mean, that right there brings me so much joy. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest these peppers too, because these are definitely ready for sure. Look at all that parsley. I'm gonna go ahead and harvest some of that too. And then look at all the cayenne. There's more cayenne peppers, so I'm gonna harvest some of those as well. Last thing I do wanna share is I still have my Greenstalks over the driveway. They will get planted. These are the ones that are going on the structures in the back that we haven't put together just yet, but these are ready and they are gonna get planted. I just don't know exactly when. And these two, I'm thinking by the next Greenstalk Garden Tour, I'm going to be putting pretty much all peppers because I plan to overwinter these peppers. That's my goal anyways. I think I'm gonna put 2 tomato plants in one of them or in both of them. I haven't decided yet, but you can see I have the straw and the worm castings on top because I have them already. I got my pepper plants picked out, everything. It's just, you know, timing. I am really excited about everything that we harvested out of the Greenstalks because I feel like this is just the beginning of everything. There's so much growing and I have a feeling we're gonna be harvesting a lot. So let's go ahead and see what we harvested. So we got some beautiful parsley. I actually just ended up putting it in this basket because they were just rolling around in the big basket because there's not a ton, but just enough. We got ourselves some beautiful cucumbers, which, friends, look at how beautiful this one is. This snacking cucumber, so pretty. I believe this is the snacking. If it's not, it's the Armenian, but I don't think this is the Armenian. So this is a beautiful cucumber. Then we got ourselves our first Melrose Park pepper, super exciting. And then we got a bell pepper. I mean, friends, look how gorgeous this is. I would love to grow a lot of bell peppers. This is my favorite pepper to eat. I love sweet peppers so much. And then I did get a bunch of jalapenos. I want to say like 4 or 5 of them. So very happy about this. And then we did get a couple of cayennes. You can see there's quite a bit in there. They're kind of all down there. And then I did get some Italian dandelion in there again as well. I know those are going to start flowering at some point, so I'm like, let me just harvest as much as I can now. But this is a perfect little harvest for a weekly meal or two. I mean, this is just beautiful. What I would do, well, parsley I would chop up and use that in a meal, but I would cut up the peppers, the cucumbers, not the jalapenos or cayenne, but the cucumbers, pepper, make a little summer salad, put some feta cheese, and the lemon Meyer vinaigrette from Azure. I mean, are you kidding me? It's so good. If I had tomatoes, I would slice those up in there and put that in there too, but this is screaming summer for me and it gets me super excited. Well, friends, I think I survived out here. I am so hot. I am melting out here. But either way, I am so glad that you all stopped by because I love to share everything that's going on with the Greenstalks and the garden and of course doing some harvesting together. And I want you all to know how much I greatly appreciate every single one of you. And I always look forward to seeing you every week. And I also want you to remember this, friends. I want you to be encouraged, stay encouraged. And I want you to always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.